Okay, we will talk about the snack food industry in Egypt. Christine, Nancy, and Mohammed are making this project. Okay, the snack food industry. What's snack? Snack food is any food portion that's not a regular meal. It's smaller than a regular meal. Okay, it comes in different varieties. Packed, it may be packed or unpacked, cooked or raw, sweet or savory. Okay? This industry started in the US in the 19th century when people started to change their perception of food, and their lifestyle has changed, that it needed something quick, on the go. Okay, people were busy, working longer hours, and many of them were singles, so they wanted something that they can grab while they were going to work or coming from home. The first pizzeria, Italian pizzeria, opened in the US in 1905 was Lombardi's Pizzeria, and this was the first official place to sell this type of food. Okay, in Egypt, Corona, remember Corona? Corona Confectionery and Chocolate Company was the first factory of snack food in Egypt, and it was established in 1919, and it made a big sales with Bimbo. Remember Bimbo? Yes. That is still being sold until now. Still good. Okay. Now the market is very big, and these are the major players: Bounty, Johanna, Edita, and Chips. Okay? Okay, we'll talk about pastel. Politically, Egypt is politically stable, let's say, and there has been increase in the infrastructures and roads and facilities. So politically, the food snack industry in Egypt is very promising. There is no barriers, there is no limitation politically. Economically, Egypt is low in fuel, dollars, and water. But when it comes to snack food, or when it comes to food in general, Egyptians have no mercy.
Yes.
So the market is very big in Egypt and is very promising, and the government generally facilitate local and foreigner companies to invest in food and beverages sector in Egypt. This sector is very huge. Studies says that it increases by, the sales increase by 5% every year for the snack food industry only. Ironically, in 2011, when we had the revolution, Egyptians spent 8 billion Egyptian pounds only on snack food. Around 130,000 tons of snack food are being sold in Egypt, with the salt snacks more than the sweet snacks. The lead is for the salty snacks. Okay, socially, okay, socially, snacks are sold all over the year, but it has peaks. Peaks are when we have on big Bayram, small Bayram, when we have festivals, when we have vacation. There is peak on the snack
seasonality
sales, yes, snack
Like
sales.
summer.
And also during school
Yes.
time. Okay. All categories, all Egyptians consume snack food because there is different styles and different. There is very cheap snacks and very expensive, like in gourmet. And gourmet sells bars exported from abroad. Technologically, there is the machines and factories of snack food is very advanced, except for the packaging. There is a problem in the packaging technology in Egypt and food labeling. This is the only gap that we have right now in this sector. Environmentally, the challenge will be with the waste management and recycling, because there is a lot of plastic and paper waste from this industry. Legally, the food and beverage is regulated by the Ministry of Health in Egypt, and there are يعني انا هقولها بالعربي معلش ان هو لازم يبقوا يتاكدوا ان الكونتنتس او الكومبوننتس ماتشز مع حاجه اسمها المواصفات القياسيه المصريه. اوكي؟
Egyptian quality standards.
Compliant.
Egyptian quality standards.
Egyptian quality. Thank you. طيب قبل ما اتكلم على الستبس اوف مانيفاكتشرنج عايز اتكلم على الايجيبشن ماركت. في sector, there is a big sector in Egypt depending on the food and the snack food industry, which is the koshk. The koshk model is a whole, يعني the koshk model is only built and based for snack food. زي اسمه Okay, so the steps of manufacturing, first we start with the weighing and measuring. This is measuring each ingredient and then mixing it. So we mix the ingredients after weighing them to have the appropriate texture, the appropriate consistency, the taste, the color, and then we form it individually in individual forms. And then the baking, which is the cooking, and it's under heat, humidity, sometimes it's frying, and then we dry. Drying is only for the crispy and puffed snack food, like chipsy, Cheetos, and this is to take out the moisture to make sure that it's in the right form. Okay, and then the packaging, individual packaging, and then the full packaging. Okay, substitutes. There is no direct substitutes for snack food in general. However, there are alternatives. Now, there is a trend going to healthy snacks. Low fat, low sugar, healthy sweeteners like stevia instead of processed sugar, no preservatives, no additives, putting natural colors instead of artificial ones, and the non-GMO layer, genetically modified organisms. Thank you, Hamid. Okay, some brands now in Egypt are going to this side, the healthy, or presenting or offering healthy snacks in the market, like Right Foods, making roux, and the أنا شفت حضرتك بتتاكلي من الريفات.
And I didn't know that it's from Edita. This is very weird. I don't know it's from Edita. I think it is not.
Me too. This is the first time to know that all those products are coming from Edita.
No, this is substitute. This does not come from Edita.
Egyptian.
But I cannot believe that this is an Egyptian.
This is Egyptian. This is Egyptian.
But he's asking if the whole is not
نسبة
for this.
substitute.
It's a healthy substitute. It's not a direct substitute. There is no substitute for snack food. That's indirect, which is the healthy part.
Okay.
Okay?
There is no substitute for
كل دول
snack
مصر على فكرة.
في indirect.
Okay?
And he was asking that this is a potato, but the potato is replacing a croissant, so how can you put it in this as a substitute?
كلها كالوريز. عادي يا عم.
then محمد بن
ايوه يا عمو.
Okay, then let's talk about Edita market share. From market share, we can know the whole performance of Edita in snacks market. We have here 64% which is extremely exceeds the half of the market share
Wow.
versus 36% for other competitors. Okay, to be honest, here Edita for fiscal year 2021 has achieved about 5.251 billion Egyptian pounds in fiscal year 2021. Okay, here about categories in Edita as a whole portfolio. Okay, so we can see here the performance of all categories about year over year for 2021. Our project is about cakes, which has achieved the growth from the last year to fiscal year 2021 about 30%. To zoom in about cakes, we can talk about cakes market for Edita. Edita cakes market is about 46.2% versus 53.2%. That means that Edita is a market leader in cakes market in Egypt. Total market volume in Egypt in fiscal year is 3.3 billion Egyptian pounds. As I've mentioned in the previous slide, here is 46.2. Total sales is about 1.5 billion bags in this year. We have many players here in cakes market or snacks market. So big players here is Fargalla, River Foods, Egypt Foods, and Mansour طبعا and others. Cakes market type, it's monopolistic. We don't have barriers, we have many players. So I've mentioned others in the previous slide. We have unknown companies can raise just in 6 months or maybe a year or more, but they sell their cakes in peripheral small sellers or supermarkets, which is not known. We have here a dark side of cakes market. Okay, so it's monopolistic, many players. There is no barriers to enter طبعا or exit. Market segmentation criteria, we can segment about geographic, we can talk about countries. Mainly, Edita is operating in the MENA region, which refers to Middle East and North Africa region. Egypt is the main country, almost. Okay. Almost 95% of total revenue of Edita. Edita is expanding in MENA region, as I've mentioned, and they have established their factory in Morocco.
Yes.
And it's going to start operating soon, as soon as possible. Demographics, yes. Demographics, we talk about cakes, so everyone can eat cakes. So we don't have a specific gender, age, or income. But we can talk about age maybe from 16 to, we can exceed 40 years. I'll talk about it in the next slide. The income, we can talk in all ranges of income, but middle class or class B which is more potential, frequently purchasing of cakes. Psychographic, we have social class A, B, C. So I have mentioned that segment B is the most potential for Edita because they purchasing frequently. Okay, personalities, strivers, achievers, survivors. We have many personalities or other personalities, which depends on directly in two factors or two main factors, which income and behavior of the consumer, how potential the consumer can consume our products. Lifestyle, I have mentioned from 16 for about 40 years. So these people or this category of people have the most busy life. They work more, don't have the time to prepare food. So it's a trade-off.
Yes, they are also charismatic. Yes.
Yes.
بس حد كان سمارت
Yes.
like until 4
ولابسين قميص كلينش.
So they also miss breakfast, so I can take a snack. As I said, it's a trade-off. Better than nothing. Which behavioral main strategy of Edita in social media. We target social media for to achieve the highest reach of advertisement. We're doing here for example, COVID-19 changes people's lifestyle. We're not going to work, so there's a long time to spend in our houses. We can notice that in supply and demand. In next slide.
هذا
Okay, including user status, different usage rate, loyal and not loyal. There's no loyalty in cakes for real. Yeah. Firmographical, here we can talk about how the company can target the target demographics. We can talk about characteristics about the consumer. Firmographic, how the company will act to target these consumers. Okay, it's a B2C. We have already final product, they are packaged cakes. Target users which manage end user ده طبعا large market size. Okay, you have the many distribution channels like markets, supermarkets, hypermarkets, and specialists. Company profile, Nancy.
Okay. Edita started by family, intelligence family. They told they wanted to make something new or something different. They go to a snack industry. As Christine told, the snack industry started by 1919, by something very old. They wanted to make something different with target class, specific class as class B, something people want something different, something classy, so they go to this sector. They start by Berzi family, Hani Berzi and his brother. They wanted to make to go to this market. Edita owned now by 3 different shareholders, Quantum Investment, King's Way Fund, and part is free float. Free float, as they go to in 2015 to the stock market. This has a very difference in company. This is only a snack company in the stock market. This means how the company is very strong. The revenue of the company is very high. Free float in London and Egyptian stock market. They go to a different way to be owned in companies, as Digma Trading, Edita Participation, Edita Confectionery. They own every company to high purpose. They own the Edita Confectionery to go in candy, to make candy manufacturing or candy industry. They go to Edita Participation to make how they could go to invest in other companies. They didn't only work in snacks. They go to invest in companies to make revenue by other side. They go to Digma Trading. Digma Trading is responsible for go to import and export other products. Company history. They started, as we told before, from 1996, and every year they gone to 3 years they going to make a segment, a new segment for other companies. and every year they go to make something new in each segment. They make to-do brownies, they make candy, different kind of candy to make as كل نفسك قبل ما حد ياكلك يعني something new يعني. Edita product, they have 5 segments as to-do, Hobos, Twinkies, to-do, bakes. They want something salty, not only sweets. In I think in rusks and wafers, Fresca, and going in 2021 in candies. But still, they need more marketing campaigns for candies because they didn't listen on it.
It's a failure product. I know the brand manager of Mimix. She admitted that it's a failure product. They are not willing to market for this product because they try to penetrate in the market, but they couldn't pass through. So it's true. It's making sense with the numbers you performed in the charts.
Yes. Now we are going to demand and supply. Factor, effect, and demand. Edita is very special companies in they affected by two factors. It's very important. Our distribution is very important. They distribute in Egypt, in all Egypt, by very effective ways. They pay too much to be around Egypt in every
they have a huge fleet of trucks.
Yes.
Around 25 distribution center, 654 sales representative, and 847 distribution van, and they invest to be more and more every year. The second thing is the marketing campaign. Everyone know how Edita make marketing campaigns in our TV and the universities, and by very huge. They pay too much in marketing campaigns. Every company in this sector didn't make as Edita made. They make marketing campaigns with very huge. As Dr. told, they make demand curve and the slope. And factor, effect, and supply. There's two things that are very huge. The packaging. Packaging in Edita is around 29% from our expense, also from our supply. They import everything is related to packaging from abroad. This is a very huge problem for them. And the other things like flour, oils, and sugar they get from Egypt, but they didn't. Still, these things get from abroad, so it fluctuated, or they're affected very much by dollar sign. Demand and supply curve we will see as in only 2014 they have a deficit or a shortage. In any other years they have surplus in demand over the supply. Elasticity. Elasticity, it's a year-over-year elastic or inelastic, but we want to comment on a years, in specific years. In 2015, the price of a product is going to be is increased by 31%. This is a very huge percentage. Also, the quantity sold from the quantity sold is 63, so it's doubled. It's very huge. It's very huge. So in 2015, as we say, they launched in a stock market in London and in Egypt. So the marketing campaigns is very huge. So it affected so much in knowing how in the person lesson Edita. So it's affected very well. In the other side, in 2020, the average price also it increased by 8%, but still it's not the demand or quantity sold not affected by any way. This is a very problem. How is this done? COVID-19 and people stay at home, they only eat. As we see, also, it's elastic and inelastic. And we also we need to talk about 2016 and 2017. The price of the product is also increases 29%. Also, the quantity produced decreased by 25%. This means how it's also decreased by double or that. How its raw material, as we told, the raw material is depending on importing. So also the devaluation of the currency is affected by this way. So it's decreased the quantity produced. Conclusion.
Alhamdulillah.
As mentioned, or to conclude, the snack food industry in Egypt is a very promising and huge market. And it increases the sales of related industries like machines, packaging, and production line. The Egyptian government provides all means of support to local and foreign investors and encourage them to invest in the Egyptian market. Demand and supply were fluctuating between elastic and inelastic. However, people still find a way to buy snack food because there always be different varieties that matches different taste, lifestyle, and different purchasing power. Thank you so much.